Today, I'm sharing a lineup of extracts. We're not ending at vanilla. That's where we start, because vanilla is the gold standard. I absolutely agree. And I do have some differences that I do with my vanilla, but that's just where we're starting. Where we're going, I doubt you've been before, because these are some flavors that I've done myself. I've been making these for a few years and I love them, and I wait all year to be able to break these flavors out. It's important to start them around September so that they're ready to go when we go into high gear baking. When it's time for gift giving, setting our tables, whatever it is you want to do, these are going to get you there at the top of the list. I'm excited to share them with you and I hope you love them. Let's get started. Where are we going to start? We're going to start at the easiest one and move up. This is my vanilla that I always have on hand. It is made with vodka and vanilla beans. Very simple. That is what you'll mostly see people do. However, when you're making a cake or cookies or something that's got a real strong butter flavor, where that's a flavor you want to enhance, or you want to enhance a flavor that's got a little bit of caramel or something like that in it, I don't think that vodka is the way to go. Dark rum or bourbon is the way to go. The natural molasses and caramel flavors in both the dark rum and the bourbon really enhance the vanilla, and you will get an end product that is so much more delicious. When you've got a nice big package of vanilla beans on hand, like I do, these are 50 vanilla beans here. I will link it. I got a great deal. I hope the deal is still running. I will link it the minute this video I'm done shooting, so that hopefully everybody can participate if they'd like to, because I've not seen a deal like this for vanilla beans in a very long time. For 50 really nice, plump, oily vanilla beans. They're fantastic. In this jar, I have 5 split vanilla beans. I'm just going to shove them under a little bit, squish them down, because we want everything to be in full contact. And this is 1 cup of dark rum and 5 split vanilla beans. And we're going to label that, of course. That's where we start. Okay, that was really simple. The point of that was just to show you that using different alcohols is going to yield different results. And it really does matter. You can taste the difference. So you can now start to match the end result flavor you're looking for with some of the ingredients that are going to make those flavors more pronounced, more deep, more rich. Okay, so our next one, this is cocoa nibs. Now, when you're working with chocolate, if you're making brownies, cookies, a cake, a type of a pudding, a parfait, anything, even something really fancy, like a chocolate souffle, adding the additional flavor, you want that extra depth. You want the chocolate to just scream and have it be absolutely delicious without having to add a ton more chocolate. That adds a lot more sugar and all the things. So by having a wonderful extract, you're going to be able to take your flavor from here to here. Our dark rum, and again, that's going to be 1 cup. Everything we're going to be doing is about 1 cup of the spirit. Okay, so it goes right in. Now, don't forget, we have to label everything, which I will do, I promise. Now, there's something else you can do to this if you so chose. You can do 1 plain, which is just the chocolate with dark rum, or you could take the time and add a few espresso beans, and that will give you a really nice mocha flavor. I didn't do it because I don't have espresso beans right now, which surprised me, but that's okay. I've got them on order, and that will be remedied. I'll make another. But if you add about 10 espresso beans, you don't have to crack them or do anything to it. You just drop them in and shake the bejesus out of this, and this will go for about a month. And if you can remember to shake all your jars every few days, just like we've been doing with all the other things that we've been making, we've got a ton of jars going. That's really all you have to do. Just give it a good shake every few days, and the infusion takes care of itself. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, next on our list is maple extract. You might be wondering, well, what do I need that for? Well, here's a few ideas. What I do with it is I use maple extract in homemade pancakes, waffles, things like that. It's amazing in cake batter. Coffee cakes, with the beautiful crumb top with the maple flavoring is absolutely outstanding. Of course, it's delicious in cookies and anything like that. But then there's always the drinks. You can add maple extract to a bit of hot chocolate during the holidays when it starts to be, really festive and nobody's counting calories. And it doesn't matter even if they are, because it's the holidays and they don't count. And then, of course, you've got, I said hot chocolate, but then, of course, you've got like a latte with a little bit of maple in there. It's just so delicious. There's a lot of things you can do with maple flavor, but this is pure maple. Now, very often, if you go to buy maple extract, it is not real. It is an artificial extract. I won't touch it. So I'm going to show you how to make the real deal, which is simply to take half a cup of pure maple syrup. I don't want any to go to waste. And then we're going to use a cup of vodka. Now, why wouldn't we use any of the dark rum or the bourbon? Those two flavors are so strong that what they would do is fight with the delicate flavor of the bourbon. And that we don't want. We want all of our flavors to enhance. We don't want anything fighting. And if we were to use the bourbon or the rum, that's exactly what would happen. And that's not our goal. So in this case, we're going to keep it nice and simple, and it's the maple syrup and 8 ounces of vodka. Tighten it down hard and give it a shake. This infusion is going to take 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, and then we're just going to label it maple extract. Now, it's also important to date. We want to date it because we have varying times that we're going to be using for our... Did you ever have your brain just completely stop? I swear, I think I heard it just screech to a halt. Again, the reason we want to make sure that we're watching our dates is because the infusions take a different length of time depending on what they are. Some of the ones that include spices, we have to remove some of those spices so they don't become bitter or overwhelm the balance of a combination extract, which we'll be getting to shortly. So, extract. Now, we're going to start to work with some of our combinations, and I think you're really going to like this. Wintertime is citrus season. So if you've ever noticed that, at Christmas time, lots of people give these beautiful gifts that involve citrus. Pomanders, for example. I love those things. I absolutely love them. I had my fingers bleeding once trying to make those. I learned don't do it that way. If you got your fingers bleeding making a pomander, you did it wrong like I did. I'll show you. But in the meantime, we're going to make a 4 citrus extract. So here we have orange. Now here's the thing that's very important. The orange peels, all of the peels that we're going to be using, you want to have as little white on the back as possible. That white flesh, the pith, causes the extract or anything you do with this skin to be bitter. That's where bitterness lives, and we don't want it. So with a paring knife, if when you're peeling, I'll show you. Very simply, you don't want to press down hard. You've just barely let this ride across the top. And you see you get very little pith. If you put any pressure down, that pith is going to come up and it's going to ruin whatever you're doing, whether it be you're making candy or any of those things. Candied peels are so delicious, but not if they're full of the pith. So we're going to use half of a lemon. All these measurements will be below, so please don't worry about it. We've got lime. So there'll be half a lime. My dryer's done. Okay, so we've got half a lime, half an orange, a bright-skinned orange. What does that mean? It means it means a California orange, not the Florida ones. And this is half a lemon. I already had that measured. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing. A cup of vodka. You would never consider with citrus using any of the dark alcohols. It would be terrible. Okay, so this has to be vodka. Okay, whoop, that's not tight enough. We give it a really good shake, and this is going to infuse for 6 weeks. Everything will be below. You won't have to remember that. That was just a piece of information. In fact, I'll even label that after. Now, our next, I'm excited about this one. King Arthur Flour has an extract that is proprietary to them. And it's Sicilian, I have it written down because I wasn't going to remember on a bet. Fiori di Sicilia. It is their version of a Sicilian citrus extract that has a little bit of a floral note to it. It is one of the most delicious extracts I've ever had. I buy a bottle every year until I figured out how to make my own. Is it exactly theirs? Of course not. It's proprietary to them. I don't have their recipe, but I can tell you that what they've done with that product is outstanding. And if you've never tried it, I actually recommend to you, even though I'm going to show you how to make your own version, theirs is I think it's great. I think they've done a great job, and I love it. And I hope you'll give it a try. But in the meantime, it is a little pricey. And I've matched those flavors pretty well. I've come pretty darn close. And respectfully, I am not trying to take anything away from them. It is with great love that I tried to make my own because I think they did a great job. So we've got, I wrote it down, the zest of 2 bright-skinned oranges. Okay, so we'll do the rest of this one. Very lightly, just glaze across. If you press down, you'll end up where you don't want to be. You see all the white is still there undisturbed. That's really what we want. I am barely putting any pressure on here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm actually starting to have troubles gripping it because it wants to slide out of my hand. That's how little pressure I'm using. Okay. And see? Okay. So we've got the orange. We've got the zest of the 2 large oranges. And then we're going to add the zest of 1 lemon, which I already had done. Same deal, no white, or as little white as possible. You know, there'll be a little, but you want to keep it low. We don't want that bitterness. And, oh, 1 vanilla pod. Now let me show you something. Ha! Vanilla beans, they look like this. And if you've got good quality vanilla beans, they're going to be very bendy and soft, and they'll even leave a little bit of goopiness on your fingers because they're oily. That means they're super fresh, and they're going to be very, very flavorful. So we've got our oranges, our orange peels, our vanilla bean, split, as I showed you. Okay, what else are we adding here? Oh, this was the thing that I couldn't figure out, and I finally did. This is orange blossom water, and if this was the flavor I could not figure out, it took me forever. This is the key. That mixes together with the orange, the lemon, and the vanilla, and just a little bit, it's half a teaspoon of orange blossom water. Just put it right into the lid, just a little bit. That's all it takes. And then we're going to add our vodka. This will make as close as I've been able to figure out how to get to making the Fiori di Siciliana. Sicilia. If you go to kingarthur.com, you'll see it on their website. It is one of the best extracts I've ever had. And that's just being truthful. Where are you? This is going to go for 6 weeks. You can check it after 4. 6 is better. And then we're going to come back and we're going to strain all of these, and then I'm going to show you how to put them in the most beautiful bottles. And they are labeled, and they look amazing on our larder shelves. They make amazing gifts. You will be very, very happy because how can you go wrong with something that's this delicious and then has the nerve to be beautiful on our shelf? This one is specific for the holidays, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. When you're looking for those very specific holiday flavors, this is going to be the one that you can reach for, that I really think it's going to do the job incredibly well. I think you'll love it, and I think you might even come back and make it every year. I hope so. So let's go, because I'm not going to remember all of this. So we've got our bourbon. Bourbon and vanilla are flavors that absolutely adore each other, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, so we've got our vanilla. We're going to split 1 bean. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. We're going to add, I have it all written down, 2 cinnamon sticks, 3 cloves, and what else did I have in there? I'm missing something. I know I am. Vanilla. Oh, duh. Our orange. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to add our bourbon. Nutmeg. Now, in this particular case, we don't want to use a powder. We don't want to shred them, use the microplane and do that. We want, you know how you get the little nubbins of whole nutmeg that kind of sit in the bottom and then you go on the next one so you don't rake your fingers off when you're using a microplane? You take the little guy and you drop him in there. And between the vanilla, the cloves, the cinnamon stick, the bourbon, and the orange, when this stuff is ready to go and you're making your holiday desserts, I believe you're going to be super happy, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm so excited. I love this time of year. I'll label that after. Okay, I need more jars. I'll be right back. Jars. You're going to notice a few flavors that seem to be the base of a lot of others, and there's a reason for that. The holidays have very traditional flavors, at least for us here in the United States, which is where I am. Vanilla is our base. In this case, we're going to be doing something I don't believe you've ever seen before. I certainly haven't. But when I made a butter cake with it, oh my word. Okay, so we're going to take a nice fat, we want a good one. There, look at the size of that one. A nice fat vanilla bean. We're going to split it. If you don't split your vanilla beans, the flavor, it simply will not penetrate. All the alcohol cannot infuse from a sealed vanilla bean. Have you heard of cardamom? This is the cardamom that I use. It's these little green pods. Now, when you see ground cardamom, it's not just this that you're seeing, it's what's inside. So what we need to do is we need to just crack them open so that the flavor can be released. It's important. So I already have some cracked. So I have one vanilla bean, and I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 5 cardamom pods. They pack a punch. Okay. And a bit of orange. I know it seems like that's in everything. It's the traditional flavor of this time of year, and that's why. So, very lightly. Now, if you think that we're going to just waste all this fruit that we've taken the peels off, we don't waste anything here. That's going to be a tip that I will save for you for the end for what we do with all the juice. Okay, so we take, save that. Where are you? Stick you right there. Okay, so in here we have our cardamom pods, 1 split vanilla bean, and the peel from 1 bright-skinned orange. Make sure I want vodka. Yes, that's what I thought so. I've got so many going here, I couldn't possibly remember. I tried. Okay, again, 1 cup. All of the recipes are using 1 cup of spirits in every recipe that I've done with you so far. You can scale this up, of course, but I don't want to be wasteful. These are very, very potent. When you go to use them, you need to use very little. So this is not the place where you need a quart unless you're running a bakery. I mean, these become very intensely flavored. I can actually smell the cardamom, and it's incredible. So this is vanilla, cardamom, and orange. And our next one, almonds, another very traditional flavor this time of year. I've already crushed them. In order to get a good infusion, what you want to do is make it possible for the alcohol that we're using, no matter which one we're using, to be able to pull as much flavor out as possible. The best way to go about doing that is to make sure that everything's either cut up or open. That's why we're not just taking big chunks of our citrus peels. We're using little thin strips like this so that it can give all of its oils. We do the same thing with the vanilla. We don't just drop the vanilla bean in, we split it. That's the reason. Okay, so now we're doing a cherry almond. These are dried cherries. Now, this is important. This is important for me to share. It's 1/2 cup. So that's half of this. Yep. It has to be that they are dried cherries. There's no sugar added. They are unsulfured. I had it. What did I do with it? Whatever. They're unsulfured. They are no sugar and no apple juice. I know that that seems weird, but for some reason in dried cherries, very often they use apple juice. It makes me crazy. I really, really dislike it. It's not necessary, but they insist on doing it. And you need 1/2 cup of chopped almonds. Now, it's important that you chop these almonds. I mean, they don't have to be minced. They just need to be open, okay? And we're going to use, again, 1 cup of vodka. This stuff, I add it to scones. If for some reason, I just think that it tastes incredible in scones. And I make a lot of scones, all different types during the holiday season. It is one of my favorites. It's a great way to start the morning, to make it special. And scones are the easiest thing in the world to make. But for some reason, it almost kind of feels like you did something special. So, you know, take credit for it. Now this will take a little longer. Nuts do take a little longer to give all of their goodness. So this has to go a minimum of 6 weeks. This will not be done in 4 weeks. This is a lot of fun, actually. You know, how everybody waits all year for that pumpkin spice. They love that flavor, and everybody runs to Starbucks or their coffee house of choice for, you know, the pumpkin spice flavor. We're going to make an extract that's going to give you all those flavors. You can use it in your own drinks at home. You can use it in syrups. You can use it in cookies, cakes, pies, anything that you want to have that flavor. If you're making during Thanksgiving and you're making a pumpkin pie, you add a little bit of this. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so let's go. We've got it. Now here we have fresh ginger. Now, we're not going to shred this ginger or anything like that. We're going to cut it into coins. What do I mean by that? I'm going to show you because I have so much stuff in front of me. I'm just going to whack this piece off here. So we're literally just going to cut slices. Okay? This is literally what we've done. Okay? We're going to drop that in there. The rest of that my husband can have back. He bought it for making his Asian food and I stole it. We've got 1 cinnamon stick. We've got 2 whole cloves. And we've got one more little nubbin of nutmeg. And then we go with the vodka. I think I'm missing vanilla, am I? No, I'm not. So we have in here ginger, a cinnamon stick, cloves, nutmeg, and vodka. Strangely enough, as odd as that little combination looks, when it's all infused, it will smell like pumpkin pie. It'll be that familiar smell that you're used to when you get those flavored coffee drinks. You walk into a bakery when it's Thanksgiving time and the whole place smells like that. It's this smell. Okay. Just a final run through of everything we've got. We did pumpkin spice. We did cherry almond. We did, I love this stuff so much. This is the Fiori di Sicilia. But it's not, it's my version, but the original comes from King Arthur, and I think they do a great job. But I think this is great too, but I just can't help but give them credit because they deserve it. It's incredible. Here we've got our vanilla cardamom. Now, this one is special in that we have to remove the cardamom seeds before the rest of the infusion. Okay, so I'm going to come back when it's time to do that, show you how, and explain why. But, well, I'll tell you now. The cardamom, over time, will start to leach out from the outside of the pie this little bit of bitterness. So you get all this wonderful flavor, and then right at the end, if it sits too long, it starts to take on, and I learned this the hard way, that's how I know, I had regretted not taking the cardamom pods out sooner. The following year, I did that, and it was perfect. 2 weeks before this is completely finished, the cardamom pods have to come out. Okay, so that's ready. This is our 4 citrus extract. This will make a pound cake you'll never forget. I didn't label it, so this is our 4 citrus. This is our maple extract. Pancakes, waffles, crepes. Oh my gosh, when you smell it. Okay, and here, this is our cocoa nib. When you're making anything that involves chocolate, or anything that you can even add this to when you're making something like a coffee dessert. A little bit of this. It's so good. And then we've got our vanilla, but with dark rum. And this is what you would use when you want a very buttery flavor, a caramelly brown sugar flavor. You would pick this over this. This is the one with vodka. This is perfect for ice cream and things like that. But when you want that extra rich flavor, it's the dark rum or the bourbon that you want. And this one is vanilla, orange, and dark rum. We made 9 extracts, but these are way more than just your average vanilla. And I hope you love them. I'm going to come back in a few weeks and show you how we go on to the next step. We're going to have you can't see it, but off to my right are all our vinegars that we've been working on, and they've been bubbling their little hearts out. In fact, maybe I'm going to take a little shot of that and put it on Instagram so I can show you what an active ferment looks like, because it's pretty fun. This couldn't be easier. You can bang this out in an afternoon. I don't know, how long have I been filming? Maybe 45 minutes, and that's with me blabbling. I'm going to edit most of this out. This is worth your time. This is amazing. And when we strain these out, and we can put them in little beautiful bottles, and we can put our gorgeous labels on them. And as we build our larder, and we've got our vinegars, we've got our extracts. Next, I'm not even going to tell you what we have next. You may not have even heard of. I'm excited to show you. One more thing. The secret to what we do with all the extra fruit that we've now taken their little outfits off, and here they are naked. We juice them independently. So this will be juiced separately. The oranges separately. The lemons, again, same deal. And we put them into ice cube trays. And then we have our little flavor bombs that we can take when we need to add something to a drink. We can add them when we bake. We can add them to a sauce. And it's ready to go at a moment's notice because it's right there in our freezer. No need to waste. And you can just label it right on top of your, the ice cube trays that seal shut. You just stick a piece of masking tape on there with the label so you know which one is which. And you have frozen from fresh citrus juice ready to go for anything you need. Zero waste and incredible flavor. I'll see you next time. If you like what we do here, please subscribe. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. And I'm going to go off and have a hot flash. See you next time.